Okay, we're live. Hello, it's Bill, the knee pain guru. Today is Saturday, October 23rd. We're a little bit out of our normal schedule. Life's been a little busy outside of these videos, and I've been keeping up the best I can with your questions, and I ran a little bit behind. So we're going to catch up on some of them this weekend. This one is from the other week. This was actually someone I spoke with in one of my consultations. They had this was Kevin. Kevin had a situation where he had torn his meniscus, and he wanted to speak with me to work out a strategy. And this frequently what happens is when you have a torn meniscus, there are two ways you can go. One is no surgery and try to address it naturally, and the other, of course, is with an arthroscopic surgery, which is going to clip. Can think of it like clipping your fingernail. You have something going on like a hangnail, you clip the hangnail, and now the nail isn't going to catch on anything. And this is same thing what was going on with his knee. There were some questions as to the degree of tear, which is the length of tear, the direction of tear, the location of the tear, and how much pain it's causing him. And a lot of times when you're going to speak with a doctor, you're looking at you give a kid a hammer, everything's a nail. So you go to a doctor, most times the doctor is going to say, well, you're going to need surgery, which is not always the case, because there's a study out there that the doctors actually ran the study, and it was around arthroscopic surgery for a meniscus tear, like after physical therapy, with and without the surgery. And there was actually no significant difference in the people who felt better after that. Like, you couldn't tell the difference. So the question is it worth risking having surgery if you're not going to feel any different if you just do physical therapy? So this is what Kevin and I went through. We kind of laid everything out on the table. What does he want? How much pain he's in? What is the end goal he would like? How can he use? And this is so important for anybody who is struggling with a meniscus tear, is how can you begin using the medical doctor or the medical model as a strategy to heal what's going on with your knee? Because if you try to do everything through the medical model, a lot of times you're going to be left still wanting for a solution, because they don't have the entire solution. They have very advanced tools that can be used very strategically in your healing process. And I think this is where many people go off the rails, is they're trying to have the medical model be the be-all, end-all in order to get them out of pain. And this was very much where I found myself after my surgery and the physical therapy. I had ACL reconstruction. This was 23 years ago. Doctors did great. Dr. Ellis, University of Louisville, awesome. He did a great job in terms of repairing the ACL. He did a patella replacement. And after the surgery, went to physical therapy, did my 3 months of physical therapy, got the left leg within 80% of the strength of the right. We were good to go. However, I still had swelling and pain and stiffness in not only my knee, my hips and lower back, how my body was compensating. It was very the knee was still very painful, even though the leg was strong. The left leg was nearly as strong as the right. So this is where you can fall into a blind spot with the medical model, that you do everything they say, but you're still having lots of issues. So we need to pull in and incorporate other elements, a deeper understanding of how the neurology in your body works, the neurological signals that are being sent from your knee to the rest of your body, and your rest of your body to your knee, whether you're continuing to protect the knee or not, whether you dissipate the trauma that you experienced as a result of the meniscus tear or the surgery or whatever happened in your specific knee situation, that tends to build up over time as a result of life experiences. So I'm going to pause there for a moment. There's some people that are watching. If you have questions about your knee situation, please feel free to enter those in the comments. Please make sure to give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications for future videos as I use these comments, both the live comments as well as comments that are left for this video in the future for future videos. Because the idea is that these videos are going to help you take on a different perspective in terms of the healing process your body goes through after a knee injury. The more you can broaden your perspective to see that there are other options, because many people suffer needlessly with pain for a long period of time, and the knee begins to degenerate. It depletes on your resources, and you begin to feel helpless and hopeless that what you're doing to resolve the situation with your knee is ever going to heal. And if you're doubling down on efforts that aren't working or giving you minimal results, it can kind of deplete you of any help, or I'm sorry, hope, in terms of getting better. So what we want to do is shift your focus to point you in the right direction, to begin to look for the possibilities of how your body is able to heal itself. So if that making sense, give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications for future videos. Okay. Couple more things I want to go over is mindset in terms of getting your knee out of pain is very important. However, it's not going to get you the entire way. Positive mindset or paying attention to the right things is going to make a big difference. And this is, I'm going to use a comment that I received from one of my previous videos that is going to make my point here. Let me try to find. This was Irish Freedom 23, Irish and Freedom 23. So I replied in terms of the positive perspective that is required in terms of getting over your knee pain. And I'm going to tie this right in. It says, thanks, Bill. I have tried to relax my body and listen to music and slowly bend my knee without forcing it. Gentle stretching. I'm roughly 90 degrees now. I was with the doctor last week, and they're giving me 8 more weeks to get the bend in my knee, or they want to scope it and manipulate under anesthesia. And I don't want to do that because it will send me back 8 weeks. And I'm hoping I can get my knee back before that. Your video is very helpful and hope I can achieve something from this. And here's what's important is that the mindset, the focus was different, which is important. And he's still improving they are still improving the range of motion in their knee. But just your mindset is not going to be able to change the neurological signaling as quickly or as efficiently in the knee itself. So there's a feedback loop that's happening. You have what's going on in your head, the beliefs that you have the feelings, the emotions that you have in your head, and then you have the experiences going on in your knee. And we have to change the neurological signaling in both places in order to get you the results that you're looking for. If we only think positively and you're trying to change the range of motion by going gently and slowly, which is moving in the right direction, but it's not going to get us as far as you'd like without changing the neurological signaling in the knee as well. And this is where we have to work with the intrinsic movement in the knee joint. So intrinsic movement, there is gross motor movement, there's intrinsic movement. Gross motor movement is when you're looking at the knee, you're bending it, you're extending it. That's the gross motor movement of the knee. That's what most people equate with movement of the knee. What we need to look at in order to increase the range of motion that you're wanting, especially if we're trying to avoid a manipulation under anesthesia, is we have to look at changing the intrinsic movement in the joint. So what's the intrinsic movement in the joint? The intrinsic movement, once again, gross motor movement is extension and bending. But intrinsic movement is slight forward and back movement of the knee, slight side to side movement of the knee, slight rotation in the movement of the knee, slight tilting, and slight apart and together. Now, this intrinsic movement is what will keep a joint from fully extending and bending in a comfortable range of motion. And here's what I'm talking about. When you go to physical therapy, they're going to focus on leg extensions, leg curls, leg raises, calf raises, very linear type movements, focusing on the gross motor movement in the knee. What they're failing to look at is the intrinsic movement in the knee, which is why even after physical therapy, you have pain because they've forced your knee to go into a range of motion that it doesn't want to go into. And now you're trying to do a dynamic movement, which involves the intrinsic movement of the knee joint, like getting in and out of a car. You're not getting up linearly. You're pushing and turning and trying to get up at the same time, which requires your knee to kind of tilt and twist and move ever so slightly. But if your knee is still holding on to that trauma, that experience from the injury, the accident, the surgery, whatever has happened in your knee, your movement isn't going to be smooth like a cat. It's going to be choppy and robotic, much like a robot. It's got to go up a little bit and then turn and then up a little bit more and then turn. It's not smooth. And this is where Irish in Freedom 23 is going to fall short of his goal with 8 weeks. He's got 8 weeks that the doctor is telling him, well, if you don't get that smooth movement, you're going to have to go in for a manipulation under anesthesia. So he's already getting a time frame. His body is already under pressure to achieve this goal in this stated period of time. And he's only coming at it from one end of the spectrum, which is the mindset piece, which is important, which is what we're doing these videos for, is to change your mindset to look at your knee in a different way. When you begin to look at the healing of your knee in a different way, it opens up a realm of possibilities that didn't exist, looking at it from an old paradigm, a paradigm that isn't working. So now we need to pull in this mindset with the tools that we begin to incorporate, working with the intrinsic movement of the joint to release those tension patterns in the knee. So now we have that feedback loop going from the brain to the body and back So now the neurology can begin to incorporate, the neurology in the knee can begin to incorporate around the comfort that is being created in the neurology of the knee when working with the intrinsic movement of the joint. I know it may sound complicated, it may sound difficult, but essentially your work in this dynamic is feeling what is comfortable in the intrinsic movement of your knee, in the intrinsic movement of the joint. And when we do that, your job is to find what comfort is. The neurology does the rest, because the neurology fires at 286 miles per hour. This is really cool. It's super, super cool how this works. Your neurology, like scientists can measure the speed of an impulse of a nerve. And the scientists measured that the speed of an impulse fires at 286 miles per hour. And a perfect example of this is when you go to a doctor and the doctor checks your reflexes, taps your knee with the little rubber mallet right below your kneecap, and your knee jumps. You can't control that. These same reflexes are engaged when you injure yourself. Same reflexes. They don't go anywhere. They're in your knee. They're in your body. But when your body gets injured, those reflexes go and tense up. And now you go back into your life with a torn meniscus or broken bone or whatever's going on in your knee. And that situation may or may not heal, may or may not need the Western medical model to repair what's going on. But that neurological firing, like think of it like a fuse that blew in a fuse box, is still tensed up. You can't control it. And what ends up happening is that leads to a neurological dysfunction in the way you move. Now, how are you going to know that neurological dysfunction is in your knee? If it doesn't feel smooth, your knee doesn't feel normal, your knee doesn't feel comfortable, it isn't easy, it aches, it's tender, it's tight, it's sore, it's achy, however you describe it is your experience. And what we need to do, and what I do in working with clients, is create an environment, or teach you how to create an environment in your knee so the knee feels safe, supported, and listened to. When that happens, it changes the neurological state in the knee and in the body. So you have a tense state, the body's protecting itself. That is known as a fight or flight state or a sympathetic state. And what we do is when we create comfort in the knee, the intrinsic movement of the joint, we change the neurological signaling, and the knee feels safe, supported, and listened to, that neurological state changes from fight or flight to rest and relax. And when it changes to a rested and relaxed state, now those nerves that we talked about firing at 286 miles per hour begin to reorganize the comfort that you're creating in your knee with the rest of the body. It's a fascinating process, and it opens up this realm of possibility that most people don't even know exist in like the capability of their body to heal. So this is kind of the process that we're going to. Going back to Irish and Freedom 23, you see, we got to go to a deeper level to speed up his or her body's ability to heal what's going on, to increase the range of motion in the knee. So the comfortable range of motion in the knee, to break down the scar tissue so they can potentially avoid a manipulation under anesthesia. If this is making sense, give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications for future videos. I use these questions for future videos to talk to you guys about stuff. Yeah, so this is super cool, because when we get the body's ability to heal, we get it online and it starts doing its thing. It happens so much faster. And we get to talk about cooler stuff other than what's going on in your knee. You begin to see how your knee relates to what's going on in your hips and lower back, your ankles and feet, your hamstrings, your quads, your shins, and your calves. And we can utilize relaxation and changing the neurological signaling in these other parts of your body to speed up the healing of what's going on in your knee. Because what's happening in your knee just isn't affecting your knee. It's affecting your entire body. It's affecting your relationships. It's affecting how you show up at work or don't, how you move, how you stand, how you sit, how you sleep. So all of these factors need to be brought to the table so we can start kind of picking apart that big knotted ball of yarn to get your body to feel good again. Okay, you got questions? Please enter those in the comments section. If you want more information, you're like, hey, Bill, this stuff sounds good. What can I do next? You can head on over to my website, thekneepainguru.com. I got a newsletter you can get on. It begins helping you, like I said, with the mindset. The more your mindset gets in a place of seeing the possibilities your body has to heal your knee, it's actually pretty cool, pretty exciting. So I offer that in the newsletter. You can schedule what we talked about earlier, the consultation. You can set up a time where we can speak, talk about what's going on in your knee. I have a link here as well, the appointment link. All of this information is down below in the description of this video. Then I also have my group coaching, which is Knee Club, where we work in a group format, and I give you specific videos in a members area of my website where we'd talk and find out exactly where your knee hurts. And I have videos that show you specifically how to get comfort in the area of your knee that's bothering you. Front of the knee, back of the knee, inside of the knee, outside of the knee. When you're kneeling, when you're going upstairs, when you're going downstairs, there's going to be different tension patterns that are going on in your knee and in your body that we need to change the neurological signaling by addressing the intrinsic movement of the joint, so we can change that so we relax the joint. We create the space to get the pressure off of the nerves, and your movement gets easier. Your recovery gets faster. And your sleep gets better because your body's not so tense. You're not so much in pain. So we do that in the group coaching. I also have a private coaching link down there as well that has information where we work one-on-one. Anyhow, I got a video for you you can check out right here. And once again, make sure to share this video, like the video, subscribe, and enter your questions, comments, nasty remarks, whatever you got. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show this cool little video for you. And this is Bill Paravano, the Knee Pain Guru. I'll see you in the next one.